So here's a story that's totally unsurprising to me, but it's still incredibly important. FDA releases Kratom death data. Undermines its own claims about drugs' deadly harms. The cases include a suicide and a drug overdose victim who tested positive for 9 different substances. See, this is... they're lying, is the basic breakdown here. That's what they're doing. So they go on to say, well, there's 36 or so different examples of Kratom deaths. Well, when people went through them with a fine-tooth comb and they said, well, let's look at the specifics of each case, you know what they found? Not only what I just told you, they also found that there was a victim who fell out a window and they counted that as a Kratom overdose death. You know, I'm no doctor. I'm no expert, but my guess is that has nothing to do with Kratom. Another one, and this is the even more absurd than that, the falling out the window. There was a homicide victim, and I think they said he had a gunshot to the chest, and they counted that as a Kratom overdose. In fact, in the overwhelming majority of the cases where there was a death and there was Kratom in the person's system, there were other drugs. I gave you the one example of 9 different drugs in one person's system. There was another one where it was 4. You know, this is what it is. They have to fudge the data to try to make it seem like this is a problem. And let me be the first to say, even if it was the case, oh my God, we have 36 Kratom deaths. You ready for this? I hope you're sitting down. So what? You know how many alcohol deaths you had in the same time span? Probably tens of thousands. Are we talking about how we should ban alcohol? No, nobody's talking about that. That's a terrible idea. But the FDA is trying to crack down on Kratom. Now, why would they do that? Well, there's a very straightforward answer that very few people are going to talk about. You know, Kratom, it has a zillion uses. Some people use it as an antidepressant. Some people use it as an anti-anxiety medication. Some people use it for anti-PTSD. Some people use it recreationally. Some people use it... It's kind of like marijuana in that it's a broad array of things it helps. But one of the main things it helps is people who had addiction issues. Addiction to what? Opiates and opioids. Now, Kratom works on the same receptors in the brain as those, but you can't overdose on it. If you have too much Kratom, you just throw up. If you have too much of an opiate or an opioid, you can die. It suppresses your breathing, and you can die. So there's way more overdoses from that. There's none that have been proven from Kratom where it's just Kratom in their system. Like I said, it's Kratom and 9 other drugs, or they fucking fell out a window, or they got shot in the chest in a homicide case. So you can't overdose from it, but the FDA is still trying to crack down on it. Why? I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that Big Pharma is a massively, massively powerful, and they control our government, and they don't want anything to be viewed as their competition to get a foothold. Well, that's already the case with Kratom, man. So the FDA tried to do this before. Oh, we're going to crack down on Kratom. And then what happened? They did a comment period, and I would be surprised if it wasn't 100% of the comments that said, no, why are you doing this? Stop. And listen, this would be so damaging if they were to crack down on Kratom in a serious way and take it away from people. Why? Well, then what's going to happen? What's going to happen with pain patients, for example? What's going to happen with pain patients and they used Kratom to kill their pain? They're going to have to go back to the opiates and the opioids, right? And then there's a much higher risk of overdose. What happens when people are taking it to deal with addiction? Well, you take that away from them, maybe they're going to have to go back to opioids, or even worse, maybe they'll go to heroin. So you're actually putting way more lives at risk if you were to crack down on it, and that's what the FDA is hinting that they want to do. They tried to take it away once. There was such a gigantic backlash that they had to back off of it. But now it looks like they're trying to do the incremental thing again of like, oh, hey, no, we're just being objective here and empirical. And we looked at the data and this seems kind of dangerous. So we're just saying that don't be surprised as we continue. You know what they have right now? They have it on the monitored substances list. What the fuck kind of Orwellian bullshit is that? oh, it's legal, but we're looking at you if you get it, and maybe we'll take it away from you, and maybe we'll do whatever. Like, what the fuck is this? What is this? Now, listen, right now they say it's treated as an unregulated supplement. Okay, you want to regulate it? Great, but then regulate it. Legalize it, tax it, and regulate it. So have it legal, but also, yes, you could have, them check for quality controls and shit like that. I'm never against more regulation to make sure it's safe, but if you take it away, man, that's going to be a disaster beyond disaster. I don't know if that sentence makes any sense, but there, I said it. And a point that I've made before while talking about Kratom is, you know who takes Kratom? I do. I take Kratom. Now, I don't take it for any, not for PTSD or anxiety or depression. Well, I guess maybe a little bit for anxiety, but not really. I just take it because it helps me focus. So I kind of use it like caffeine. I have it on a regular basis. When I want to get some work done and I know I have a lot of work ahead of me, I'll take some Kratom and it helps me focus. It keeps me focused. It keeps me happy as I go through, sometimes like reading through long articles that are wonky, and they say in some articles it takes them 3 pages to say what I can say in one fucking paragraph. And I have a short fuse. So like when I'm going through, I'll get angry. I'll be like, fucking get to the point, and it makes me angry. So if I have some Kratom before I do my work, it's like, okay, I can sit there and read through the whole article and not want to strangle the idiot who wrote it, who said in, what they were trying to say in 3 pages instead of a paragraph. So, this is something I have so much direct experience with it. I've tried all the different strains. There's red strain, there's green strain. It's all different stuff. And they, some make you feel a little more uppy, like caffeine. Some make you feel a little more relaxed. And I have had so much personal experience with it that this is one of those instances where when I read the talking points from the government, it just becomes so clear that it's not about any of the shit that they're saying it's about. There's an ulterior motive here, and it's evil, and it's wrong, and it's bad, and it's nefarious. And it's on behalf of Big Pharma that they're doing this, because they're trying to protect their profits, and they're trying to look out for them. So, believe you me, from a Kratom user, there's no... I mean, like any substance, I wouldn't tell you to drink 6 cups of coffee a day, because that's too much of that drug. I would say be careful with how you consume it, but be careful with how you consume anything. It's overall, I think it's a very positive substance. I think it's a very good substance. I think it helps a lot of people. I support people taking it for medical reasons. I support people taking it for recreational reasons. So this is all propaganda. And I know that as a matter of fact. And so I'm here to tell you that don't believe the bullshit propaganda from the government, because that's exactly what it is. And God damn it, if they come to crack down on the Kratom, we got to raise hell. We have to raise hell and tell them that's not an option, bitch. It's not an option. God damn it, they come to take everything that's freedom. This is freedom. It's freedom. It's freedom for me to have some Kratom before I do my work. That's freedom. You're going to try to regulate my fucking mental state as I work? That's what this is. We want you to suffer through your work, Kyle. Well, fuck you. How about that? Just like, somebody who smokes weed because it makes them, I don't know, connect more with people around them and shit. You want to throw that guy in a cage because he likes to tweak his consciousness? Fuck you, man. And then they have the nerve to say, we're freedom and democracy. Fuck off. That's not freedom. That's not democracy. That's you being tyrannical. That's exactly what that is.